You are invited to sharpen your command and leadership skills at the 2024 Blue Card Hazard Zone Conference. It's coming to the Sharonville Convention Center just outside Cincinnati, Ohio, September 30th through October 4th. It is 5 full days of command education and training at this year's Hazard Zone Conference. We have 21 instructors, networking opportunities, and this is a place to become a better incident commander. Register now at hazardzonebc.com. We'll see you there. Welcome everyone to B Shifter. This is a special bonus from FRI. We're at Fire Rescue International in Dallas, Texas this week. Hopefully you can come by and see us if you're here. We're in booth 1822 out on the floor, and you can look for us on the map. We're right outside the tech zone. And if you're listening to this and you are at FRI, we have a free t-shirt for you, as long as they last, while supplies last. We also have a good deal this week on our conference. So first of all, for those of you who aren't watching, I'm here with Josh Blum and Chris Stewart, who are also manning the booth and talking Blue Card with us this week. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. It's a little toasty here in Dallas, but it's all good. Got the booth all set up. Looking forward to catching up with some people. We already caught up with a bunch of customers and future customers, I think. People who are coming online. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people walking around already. It was pretty impressive this morning.
So we're getting things going in just a little bit. So, again, we want you to come by the booth. If you're thinking about coming to our conference or sending people to our conference, we have a special deal this week. It's a 1-week discount during FRI. We're going to give you $100 off if you register now. So you can either come by our booth and get the QR code, or we'll post it up here. But I guess we'll extend that to anyone who's listening right now, right?
Yeah. If you registered this week before end of day on Friday, we'll honor that discount. And with that said, there's only 5 seats left in the Mayday Management 2-day Mayday Management workshop that we've already expanded multiple times, and we're out of space in the space that we're using at the conference center to grow it anymore. So there's just 5 seats left. So that's going to be that'll be a big deal. So we got Jeff King, one of our leads, Chris Stewart, Eric Phillips, Steve Lester, Grant Light, all with, pretty lengthy experience with Maydays and recovery from Maydays and event investigation and all of that. And then the students, we got people from California to Maine and Washington to Florida, and people, north of the border from Canada in the class. So we're looking forward to that. It'll be the largest, 2-day Mayday workshop discussion on Mayday prevention, first and foremost, and then Mayday management, secondly, that we're aware of that has ever happened, anywhere. And we're going to be, talking about real events that really what best practice is based on today in our industry about both those two things, Mayday management, but first and foremost, Mayday prevention, which is what's the causation really of these things? And because there's really no new ways we're getting into trouble. So we're looking forward to it. That's going to be great. Yeah. So come by the booth and, catch up with us, talk, ask questions. And we got information there on the conference if you're still interested in that.
All right. And you can go to hazardzonebc.com if you want all that information. Just back to if someone wants to grab one of those last 5 seats, what do they expect over the 2 days? You talked about some of the discussion, but really what does that class look like if somebody's thinking about going to it? What exactly happens there?
Yeah, so there's we just don't give you the answer in the class, right? Because if we just say just do this, then that leaves too many doors open of questions. So really the Mayday Management Workshop starts out with the why, and it starts out with everybody being honest with themselves and each other about what are we really doing and why, most importantly, probably why do these things continue to happen? And when we look at Maydays, we always hear NIOSH reports all say the same thing. Yeah, no shit, because there's no new ways that we're really getting ourselves into trouble. We keep doing the same things over and over again. And we're not only going to look at line of duty death reports and really try to get to root cause things of what happened, but we're also going to be using some of the it's not near miss reports, but some of the reports that FSRI has put together, because there was an event, right? So it's not a near miss. There was an event. It's just that the outcome wasn't a line of duty death, but it's triggered those people that were involved in those for the rest of their life. So, the value, I think, in all of the incidents that we're going to review is our staff that's there presenting it has real life, in-person experience with all of them. And I think there's value to that. So that we're connected to it in some way, shape, or form. And then we're super excited because Murray's going to join us, for the whole 5 days, right? So Murray Laughlin, one of the investigators at NIOSH, is going to join us again for not only the Mayday workshop, but the entire conference. So It's always nice having him in the room to talk about, what has he seen from being a chief when he was at Virginia Beach and very involved with NFPA and all of that, and talking about Mayday prevention in 1500 and all those things to now doing all the investigations that he's done. It's the value of that is, it's priceless. You can't put a number on that and we're honored every time that we get him to come spend time with us. So
he is such a sincere man, and the things that he's gone through as an investigator, and he gets frustrated because he's seeing the same things happen over and over again. And a lot of people complain about NIOSH reports because they say it's the same report. But Murray will tell you it's the same report because it's the same causes happening over and over again. And that's very frustrating to somebody who goes out and investigates these things and tries to make sense of them and tries to have some findings. So I think that he has just been a stalwart supporter of Mayday prevention, because he doesn't want to have to write another report. If he could put himself out of business, he'd be happy to.
Absolutely.
So one of the things I really like about our Mayday workshop is that we truly focus on the prevention and the response at the strategic, tactical, and task level. So a lot of times when you look or read or hear, we're very focused, the fire service is very focused on that task level, what happened at the task level, and that was the big, the big reason why this Mayday happened. Well, there's always a strategic level issue connected to that. And so not only are we going to identify what the potential issues are, but then we actually have a standardized system that prevents and responds to this in the best way possible. So, we know the only guaranteed way to survive one is by not having one. And then so how do we prevent that at the strategic level, doing everything right when something goes wrong? And then how do we connect that to the tactical and task level more appropriately so everybody's doing the right thing?
The other pre-conference workshop is the CERT lab, but there's only one seat left open for that.
Yeah,
am I correct?
Just one seat left in the CERT lab. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so September 30th, October 1st, and 2nd. And we ran that basically so some new organizations or people who are kind of maybe investigating Blue Card, what's it all about, so they can get a full dose of go through the online, get certified, and come to the conference. So that deal is $715, and you get the online, a 3-day CERT lab, and 2 days of a conference with a lot of the same big name presenters that you would see at any of the big shows, with Dan and Shane Ray and Frank Lieb, and then the B Shifter update of everything that we've done, where it's kind of like where we've been and where we're going. So I don't think we got enough time to talk about all of that slotted in the conference agenda, but it's going to be a great week. We're looking forward to catching up with everybody who we've been working with forever, and then all of those that are new coming online. And if it's a great opportunity to come network and hear from people who are actually using the system, because like anything, anybody can say anything that they want. And I'll just put it out there here is, just this last 2 weeks, I heard a lot of like, Phoenix doesn't do blue card. And I've said it on here before and I'm going to say it again. Yeah, Phoenix doesn't do blue card because blue card was invented out of the Phoenix Fire Department. What they do is follow all the principles and practices of the 8 functions of command. And as blue card continued to be evolve and refined and, updated and tweaked and changed and all of those things so that it fits all of suburban America, the United States Fire Service? Yeah, it has, right? Because everybody's not the Phoenix Fire Department. So blue card is the teaching system of the 8 functions of command. And I talked to plenty of people, and one sitting right next to me, recently retired guy, but, Phoenix follows the 8 functions of command, period. Like that. I mean, it's what it is. It's what they've done forever. And, 2001, after Brett Tarver's incident, they refined it and, started to say, hey, we need to have a command training center. And the shift commanders taught the 8 functions of command to get everybody on the same page. Because prior to that, it was, kind of taught. And I'm speaking third party to it, but from what I know and have heard and from hanging out with people who work there and have worked there and were part of this system, whether it was Nick Brunacini or Chief Garrison or Chris Stewart or any of the other people. If you ask a Phoenix guy, they have no idea what blue card is. It's because it's what they've always done. So I laugh when people say that. Even Phoenix abandoned blue card. No, Phoenix never started blue card because it's just what they've done since really in a roundabout way, the 80s in so many ways, right? Following the 8 functions of command, the stuff that Chief Brunacini wrote in the first edition of Fire Command, and it continued to evolve. So it just makes me laugh because, everybody's got their own opinion and can say what they say. But if you're the task level knuckle dragger out there and you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what you're talking about, right? Yeah. So just stick to putting up ground ladders and stretching hose lines. And let the strategic IC guys and tactical bosses talk about what they talk about. So, we don't want to get in anybody else's business with that, but we'll put it out there as the truth of what it really is. So you can call the Phoenix Fire Department. Actually, you can get online and find the 8 functions of command and all their SOPs posted. And when you do that, it looks so much like blue card. It doesn't say blue card. Chris, what's it say? Volume 2.
Yeah, Phoenix Fire Department Regional Policy, Volume 2.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's all the stuff that, it's all the stuff that blue card, it's the basis, I guess, of blue card. But again, blue card is the system used to teach the 8 functions command. So.
And depending on who you ask at the Phoenix Fire Department, I've heard shift commanders in the last year, they think they're using blue card. I mean, they'll say that, oh yeah, we started blue card. But, these comments come from like suburban Chicagoland or somewhere like that where they're not even tied in. So I'm glad you addressed that because it is that comment that we get every once in a while and it's uninformed. And if you have a question about that or anything else, these blue card mistruths or questions or whatever, please stop by and see us at FRI. If you're here, we want to have that conversation with you. Booth 1822. We welcome the questions. We welcome the thoughts. If you've been told something that you thought you heard that blue card was, and you would like clarification on that, we would love to talk to you here. That's really what this is all about, is answering questions for folks who are either interested in the system or may want to know more about it or maybe had some bad information about it. Because that's the other thing that we've been talking about in the last week or so is the mother may I, we can't do anything until we're ordered to. I have never known of any critical task that wasn't done on the fireground because we're waiting for an order or because the order takes so long to get. I have seen scenes in total chaos where people are just getting off the trucks and doing their own thing. So that's what we like to avoid. So again, another blue card myth that we'd love to dispel is that it's not a Mother May I system.
No, the system comes back to, a video we watched this morning at breakfast that we just rolled across that's like 9 years old of Chief Brunacini or 10 years old, whatever it is, of Chief Brunacini talking about we deploy and make decisions based off of the critical factors, which is the problem. And, we kind of all laughed, I think, when he made an example. He was talking to Chief Rubin, and he says, if the first line going into a building is working, and you ask somebody the question, where does the next line go? A person who's making sound decisions and has a tool to make decisions is going to say they're going to go to the next most hazardous place. If the first line isn't working, which means they're making a decision because they're evaluating the work that's taking place, they might go to support that first line. But within the system, that first line that's in place, if there's not an IC, they are the IC at that point. So, they're given that assignment. And that assignment's so simple, right? Just a task, location, and objective. They're not telling you which line to stretch. They're not telling you how to stretch the line. They're not doing none of that stuff. They're basically saying, I need another attack line to the second floor to support me with fire attack for a working fire in the attic, right? And I'm not sure how that comes down to micromanaging, but, the whole thing of the system of we just do this same thing every single time doesn't make sense. And every time that comes up, I go back to the simple one for me is you get called to chest pains at 2:00 in the morning, and it's, Mrs. Smith, but it's really abdominal pains. Well, we don't, oh, it's chest pains, so we're going to shock them. Or it's chest pains, and we're going to start an IV and just start giving drugs. It's like, no, in the paramedic world, we actually make decisions. There's an algorithm. If this, then that. If not, and we follow that, right? So on the fire ground, it's the same thing. What are the conditions? The conditions are comparable to, if we're evaluating a patient, what are their conditions? And using all the tools we have. So I compare a cardiac monitor example to a thermal imaging camera. Like we're evaluating further what is going on and what action we're going to take. So that whole Mother May I thing comes back again to the people who say that they don't want to be professionals. They don't want to make decisions. They just want to really, I think they might like micromanagement because they like that document that just says, I'm the third due engine and I'm the safety engine and I'm not going to do anything but what the safety engine says to do, even if that means that I'm the third due engine assigned, but I pulled up first due and I'm not going to do first due stuff though, because I was the third due. And that just happened in a fire department that wants to talk all the time. Mm-hmm. And the company sat there and waited on another engine company to get there because their assignment was to be the safety engine, not the first due fire attack engine. And that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. But it's the fact. So
let's take a quick break.
You are invited to sharpen your command and leadership skills at the 2024 Blue Card Hazard Zone Conference. It's coming to the Sharonville Convention Center just outside Cincinnati, Ohio, September 30th through October 4th. It is 5 full days of command education and training at this year's Hazard Zone Conference. We have 21 instructors, networking opportunities, and this is a place to become a better incident commander. Register now at hazardzonebc.com. We'll see you there.
Yeah, the beauty and the tragedy of the American Fire Service and firefighters in general is we don't need any factual information to formulate an opinion and then to share it on social media. So we that's we're gonna have to live with that misery probably for the rest of our lives. But if we actually want to talk about how we do it on the fire ground, if you actually really want to come challenge a plan, come sit down and talk to us, ask questions. We've got answers, and we're not going to chase every silliness, every silly comment that ever comes across social media or any of the other platforms like that. So if you really want to know, come talk to us. And if you really want to know, talk to people who actually do it. And fires are going out. People feel way more confident about what they're doing. They have a decision process that they can actually follow, and it's teachable, it's trainable, it's measurable. You can it covers everything that you need to not have to make shit up every time you show up on the fire ground.
Well, one of the things that on that video Bruno was talking about that people can have real ownership is in the standard actions they're taking for the standard conditions. And that's just not command decisions. Command decisions are a big part of that. Risk management's a big part of it. But even on the task level, there's a big part of that. That, you know, we want to connect to that, and we want to say that those task level responsibilities are important. We don't necessarily teach them at Blue Card. We're looking for the guys who know how to stretch lines and throw ladders, and that is very, very important. And maybe that's where some of these guys don't understand that they can grab that ownership of that and really own that task level stuff, because that's we're not trying to tell you how to do the task level, right?
Oh yeah, and that's where it comes back to in the system we talk so much about. No level can do the work of the other level. A task level company officer who has a fantastic company, who's going to stretch past anybody, anytime. I want that engine company every day of the week. And I want that company officer, right, that is using all the tools, that's training their people, that can make decisions at that level and give information out to support, you know, the strategic IC. So kind of knows the direction that it's going, but, you know, fulfills that task location objective, and then uses the system to make decisions to say this is working or not working, right? So that we all fall within the same incident action plan. We remain in the correct strategy, and that we are as successful as we can possibly be. So just because you're the best at forcing a door, or you can get to the roof faster than anybody else and all of that, that's fantastic. But we always have to keep in mind that that's just one part of a bigger system. And no one company is going to, you know, make everything happen, right? So it's important that the task level be very good. It's important that the tactical level be very good. It's important the strategic level be very good, and that everybody's on the same page and supporting each other, right? So, I mean, that's what that comes down to. And in no way, shape, or form would I say, you know, the task level isn't valuable. None of that. You know, we want, like you said, John, we want the people who are the best at the best at what they do. Everybody's not the starting quarterback, and we know that, right?
Right.
And the quarterback is not the field goal kicker, right? And we know that. So on the fireground, it's no different, right? I mean, we have all of these different positions that need to be filled, but everybody needs to do their job. The quarterback can only be successful on the field if the offensive line is doing their job. Otherwise, they're going to get pummeled, right? And it's like the quarterback don't suck. He just don't have nobody to protect them. So it's the truck company don't suck. The engine company can't get water on the fire, so they can't do, you know, the list goes on, right? So the whole thing comes down to, though, is it's not just task, and we get so focused on the task solves the problem, and I think the task does help solve the problem, or the task does solve the problem, but it has to be coordinated within an incident action plan. That's what it all comes down to. There has to be a plan that supports the whole operation, not I just do this piece. And we have to know why we do the things that we do, right? You can be the best at doing any skill, but if I'm the best IC in the world and I got the shittiest companies, it is not going to go good. And if I got the best companies in the world and a shitty IC, you're probably going to solve simple problems, but if it escalates, you're in trouble.
Because a lot of times I think that if you just let people go and do SOP-driven stuff, that works, you know, for a lot of what people do. But when it doesn't work, it's catastrophic, because that's really the Swiss cheese lining up, right? And we're all about not letting that Swiss cheese line up with the standard action, standard conditions, standard outcomes.
So I think there's confusion, argument, discussion about the standard action, or the standard conditions part of that, because they'll say, well, you tell us every single fire is different, but so how can you have standard conditions? Well, you absolutely can. So it has everything to do with the process in evaluating those conditions. That becomes the standard, right? What are we doing to size this up? How are we categorizing or being able to use utilize a system to be able to describe it in a consistent way that's trainable for everybody, so that when I say this is a working fire, I know everyone knows exactly what I mean when I say this is a working fire, because we have a standard. So we're utilizing the system to create those standard conditions, and then we're going to connect that with standard actions. That standard actions means we're not going to make shit up on the fire ground. We're gonna do stuff that we know how to do, that connects together, that we know is effective for the given conditions, for those standard conditions, and then we have to all have an agreement on what that standard outcome is and what does it look like. And it looks like effective execution of the tactical objectives for that given incident, for that given incident strategy. And it looks like some level of effectiveness in the safety and welfare of the firefighters doing the work. They survived the work so that they can go do it again. And so if we're going to connect all of them together, and we kind of need to understand each individually, and then we need to understand that relationship. And that video that Bruno was talking on this morning, and if I remember, I was like 2008. So he was. Yeah, he identified in 2008 the stuff we would be arguing about today in 2024, which is not uncommon for him to do, and really cool. And we'll use those as much as we possibly can in our stuff.
So come by and see us today, this week, all week long in Dallas, booth 1822. These are the kind of discussions we're going to have at our booth. We're going to drink a lot of caffeine.
Yeah, that's probably because we've just had a 55-gallon jug of caffeine.
and we're going to talk to the people who want to know about Blue Card. So we'd love to see you here. And if you're just listening and something hit home what we're talking about, contact any of us. Our information is always in the show notes. If you want us to get on a Zoom with your officers, your chiefs, whoever it is, we can do that and talk this through so people really understand what the Blue Card system is all about. But we're looking forward to a great week here in Dallas. So stop by, see us. If you are listening this week, we have Bruno Be Nice t-shirts and FAFO t-shirts as long as they last. Come on by the booth, and if you say you heard us on the podcast, we'll slide you a shirt. We'll be good guys like that too. So, anything else about the conference or this week at FRI before we go?
Closing in. Just you don't have to be here at FRI to get that $100 off. So if you register again this week for our conference, the October 3rd and 4th, $100 off as long as you do it before end of day on Friday.
Excellent. Well, thanks guys for being here, and thanks for listening to this special edition of the Bee Shifter podcast.